Hey, Ritchie fan. So I'm currently in Dublin, in Ireland. We flew this morning to Manchester to Dublin, and now we're
Once
waiting
again,
to.
thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I would like to invite our customer seated room 7 to go to gate 401, using the general boarding lane for American Airlines flight AA73 Philadelphia.
So, like I said, we're waiting now just to board the plane to go to Chicago. As you can tell, I'm in Ireland because Guinness is everywhere. So yeah. Voila! Hello. So there's not much to vlog about now, but I'll vlog a bit more later on.
I have wet hands, so there's no paper towels.
And now it's on me. Thank you. The noise is too loud. I thought I was trying to make it out.
Oh, he's like, you have all your clothes.
Well, we're here, we're in the hotel, and so I thought I'd give a quick show around of the first hotel that we're in, because there's going to be a few. This is the one we're in Chicago, so you can have a look. Here we go. It's 6 AM in the morning. I didn't film anything last night because I swear to God, literally the first thing we did when we got back into the room was we didn't even unpack or anything because obviously we already flight, staying here for 3 days. But I swear the first thing we did was, sorry I'm looking at the elevator, the first thing we did was lie on the bed and then we slept. And we pressed yourself again up for both of us getting up at like 2 hours for singing. Look at them all. Both slept practically since we got back into the hotel from like 4 or 5 o'clock. We slept all the way through the night and up to 6 o'clock this morning. We were both pretty shattered, we didn't even have anything to eat yesterday. So yeah, we were all a bit knackered. So I'm just going out to get something to drink, get something to eat, and then get back to the hotel. So I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye. So I thought I'd give you a quick glimpse. Since it's early morning, it's quiet. You can get a little look at what a bit of Chicago looks like. Nothing really like every other American city, really. But I'll give you a look. Here we go. 360 Chicago. It's a building with the glass windows going all the way around, and I thought I'd just let you see some of the views that we can see at the moment from the top of the 360 tower in Chicago. So have a look. Right, yeah, I want to video the people at the boat now.
Okay, video.
So, right, okay, so now...
Hello, people on the boat.
Right, okay, so we've just seen that boat just goes past, and all the people on the boats turned and went like that. If you look behind me to see what they're looking at, screams out America!
Playing this song 2.5 hours ago. I know, because that's the last time our bus went by this stuff. Yeah, 2.5 hours. Good one.
fun drawback I did not think of. Holes in my shoes. You squelch it. 1 foot flying, 1 foot not. Come on, if you want to do Route 66, we better get walking. It's how far? That. We're on top of the Ferris wheel. Well, we're not on top of the Ferris wheel, we're probably about almost halfway up, I would say.
No, not even halfway. You're not even halfway, not even a quarter of the way.
We're about, yeah, about, what would you say, quarter of the way? Ish. We're on, what's it called, the Navy Pier?
Yeah.
The Navy Pier, apparently. This is where all the rides are. It's a very modern, when you see one of these modern things. Well, there's that Shakespeare thing, that's where Wizard of Oz is.
Yeah.
So you can't see that, but that's where the Shakespeare thing, that Wizard of Oz is playing. If you look behind me, it's a really nice view of the city skyline, which is actually quite breathtaking when you look at it in the camera. Very city-esque. Yeah, that where we're talking at, Catherine's got a better view. I've got
Obviously.
some load of bars behind me.
Catherine always gets a better view.
You look where Catherine is. Look where Catherine is, that's a better view. But I don't get it's got a better view from this side where you can see all
Not until the second half.
second half.
Yeah, once we get over the top and down to the side, you'll get the better view.
That's true. Oh, we're moving again.
Stay tuned, you'll find out.
I'll flip round. Beautiful morning here in downtown Chicago, and we're waiting for the hop on and off bus again because we figured out that technically the way we planned and booked things, that is the cheapest way to get around places. So today we're off to we're going to go to a record store first, talk to some old DVDs, records, vinyls, all that kind of crap, and then hi Catherine. And then we're going to go down to the museum, the planetarium, and the aquarium. See some fucking fish. So yeah, that's the plan for today. We're just waiting for the bus coming. The bus dude is sat down there. He says it's going to be along shortly, so we'll see.
E.T. phone home.
You're supposed to point when you do that. You're supposed to say and then point. With your finger, do the same thing you did, but then point somewhere.
E.T. phone home.
Yep, you're the one inside.
No, it's behind.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I couldn't see it.
Millions of years after Sue's death, the dinosaurs' fossilized bones were discovered in modern-day South Dakota. Never before or since has such a complete T-Rex skeleton been discovered. Everything highlighted here is real fossilized bone. We also have Sue's real skull. It is studied so often that we keep it in a separate display case in this exhibition. But the skull isn't the only thing that researchers are interested in. Scientists have photographed, measured, scanned, molded, sliced, drilled, and 3D printed Sue's bones. All of this research has helped us learn more about how T-Rex grew up, hunted, ate, and died. In fact, the way Sue is positioned today is the result of scientific research. Take a look at the tail. Studies of fossils have taught us that T-Rex should have its tail off the ground, not dragging. We've also learned where Sue's gastralia, or belly ribs, would have been. They're down here. Now that they are in place, they give this fossil a bulky appearance. But we don't know everything. There are still some big questions out there. Was Sue male or female? What were those tiny arms used for? Did T-Rex have feathers? Did they hunt in packs or alone? We've learned so much about T-Rex in the last 100 years, and with each new discovery, the more vividly we can see the towering, ferocious, battle-scarred predator that Sue once was.
Day 3 in Chicago. This is our last full day here in Chicago. Yeah, basically we're just checking out. We're actually going to wait for a tour of, which you're going to see behind me, the famous Chicago Theatre. So that's what we're going to do in a bit. So we've got a few minutes, maybe an hour or so before the tour starts. So we're just going to have a walk around the area. Yep. Just say it.
No.
Why?
Because you're annoying.
And you say I'm the grumpy one?
Yeah, because you are.
Yeah, look at your face.
Look at yours, it's even worse. Can't stop clapping there, can you?
Nope, not this. Ain't going. Okay, we'll try it again. So we're at some pizza place, Giordano's Pizza Place in Jackson, in Chicago. We've just come out of the Chicago theatre. I was told I wasn't allowed to do any video in there after I'd done a little bit of filming in there. So that's why it kind of cut off. And you didn't really see much, but I did put a few photos on. Anyway, we're going to be going to the Money Museum after this.
Money.
Probably won't film in there, I'll spare you all that. And then I'll pick you up after we've had lunch and been to the dock, Ritchie. Bye. Hey guys, so after we left and we had lunch yesterday, ironically for the last day we were in Chicago, a lot of the places we went to, you couldn't film, which was really good. You couldn't film in the Money Museum. You couldn't film at the theatre, which was a pain in the ass. The Money Museum, you could take photos, but you couldn't film. Then we went on a Chicago mob tour. Again, you could take photos, but you couldn't film, which makes sense really, because obviously it's a tour that you pay for. If someone's going to put it on video, you don't really need to take the tour. However, some of the places they took us were really, really interesting, and even if you did see the tour, you still probably want to do it. They took us to the Biograph Theatre, where obviously the famous story about John Dillinger, how Melvin Purvis, who was head of the FBI at the time, sent a young woman who was the lady in red, as we all know by the story, who wasn't actually in red, but anyway, so they sent the lady in red. She went to the theatre, she brought out Dillinger, and they tried to kill Dillinger. Now, a lot of people think like that he died right in front of the Biograph Theatre, which is slightly incorrect. If you look at this photo here, you will see that he actually ran from the Biograph Theatre and he made it just to the alleyway at the side before he was shot dead. He was shot in the back of the head and I think in the neck as well, I think they said. So that was quite interesting to see. I kind of knew that we were going to see the Biograph Theatre. That was one of the things I wanted to see when I came to Chicago. And this tour, I knew I was going to see this tour. See it on this tour, because otherwise, from where we are with the hotel, it's actually quite a distance away, so we probably wouldn't have been able to see it. One thing I didn't think I was actually going to see, and I never even thought about this in my mind. Now, the building doesn't exist anymore, as you can see, but the building at the side of it still does, and it's now just a plot of green land. But they did take us to the location of the infamous Valentine's Day Massacre, which, if you'll know your history, 7 people were shot dead in a gang, well, they say a gang war. From what the guy on the tour was saying yesterday, there's rumours it could have been the police who did it, but we'll never know. But the theory is that Al Capone hired someone and went to take out this rival gang. This has been shown on quite a few different films. Some like it hot, even though they don't say it's the Valentine's Day Massacre. It's heavily based on the Valentine's Day Massacre. So they took us to that scene, and like I said, the garage that they were killed wasn't in there now, but the building at the side was, so you can still tell it's the same location and all that kind of stuff, and it's just a big green field. Then they took us to a couple of more places where it showed us where the old speakeasies used to be and all that kind of stuff. So it was quite a very interesting tour. And then right at the end, they surprised us all with pizza. So everybody was happy. So yeah, that's basically what it was. And by the time we got that finished, we ended up coming back to the hotel because it was like nearly 11 o'clock. Obviously, we did a bit of shopping yesterday as well. I caught a couple of retro items. I'll just grab them. I got Fuller House on DVD. Sister, which was a program I used to love when I was a kid. I managed to pick that up. That was really interesting because I did not know they did this on DVD. So when we go to Boston, I'm going to see if I can actually find a couple more of these because I really would like to have a few more Sisters on. But it is really good to actually have a version of Sister because I did not know that these were released on DVD. So that is one of my favourite finds of all. And then I found these in a vinyl store. These are originals from the 1960s because I had to date them. And these are the Temptations vinyl records. So we have the Temptations, the Tempting Temptations, which is Since I Lost My Baby, and it is dated 1965. So I have a feeling that this is one of the very first ones. Now obviously there's a bit of damage up here, but I mean, I can probably understand it for the age, really. But it's got we've got the original members on the back and a few of the tracks. It even has probably my favourite track of the Temptations of all time, The Girl's Alright With Me. And then we have the Temptations live in London. And I can't find a date on this one, so I'm not actually 100% sure of when it was released. Oh, there you go, 1970 it says. 1970, so this is a few years. So this is after Ruffin left. It's still the original members, but it's after Ruffin left and was replaced by Dennis Edwards. So that's quite cool. So these are like really still in the heydays of the Temptations. So they were really good finds. Anyway, so it's last day in Chicago. It's the half day. We fly to Boston I think it's about 2 o'clock. I'm not 100% sure. It's 2:30. We fly. Thank you, Catherine. 2:15. We fly over here at the airport. We fly at 2:15. Thank you, Catherine. We fly at 2:15 and we go to Boston. That will be in part 2 of these videos. Today is just basically checking out the hotel and just doing some last minute shopping. I know Catherine likes collecting these snow globes, so we're going to go and try and find one of them. And just probably nothing major today. It's just going to be a last few minute pick up things that we've not done. So yeah, I will see you very soon.